I'm getting enough text messages a day with friends of mine that are in the hospital and they don't come out alive.
Now, do you think this was a demon in the flesh, or do you think it was a person taken over by a demon?
This is a depopulation plan from the pit of hell that we are funding with our tax dollars.
Listen, we have the new End Times DVD. It investigates End Times investigation. I have a lot of my friends on here, Lisa Haven, Michael Lake. I have Josh Peck, L.A. Marzulli, Stephen Bancrofts. I mean, 8 hours of me investigating things like Satanism, demonic powers, Illuminati, New World Order, Antichrist, One World Religion, End Times Miracles, Bible prophecy. Folks, let me tell you something. One day, what you're watching us on right now, it's called television, it's called social media, it's called the internet. They're going to turn that baby off. You need a hard asset. When all this stuff gets shut off, this is what you're going to be able to learn from and to understand. So I want you to text the word chosen to 91999, the word chosen to 91999.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question, David. Is that okay?
Sure.
What can we do with this nasty, evil, demonic plot from the pit of hell with Bill Gates and his posse and cohorts, where they have carved in rock in the Georgia Guidestones that I went to go see firsthand 2 decades ago and learned a ton when I was in film and TV in Hollywood, behind the scenes, working on set, all these places, with the evil demonic plot of the depopulation plan in 10 different ways. We got the we've got radiation, we have the chemtrails in the air, we've got the nasty fluoride in the water, and I could talk for another 30 minutes just on how they're trying to kill us off. I mean, here in America, I'm getting enough text messages a day with friends of mine or relatives of friends that are in the hospital and they don't come out alive. This is a depopulation plan from the pit of hell that we are funding with our tax dollars. So my question is, what can we do to wake people up that it's gates? You know, in Matthew 17:18, it says the gates of hell shall not prevail. I personally think that God was telling us it's Bill Gates, man. He's not going to prevail, but that's just Tina's 2 cents.
Yeah.
What can we do here, David?
Okay. That's a good question, Tina. And I'm going to tell you how I respond personally to that. Okay.
Yes.
Ephesians 1:19. And his incomparably great power for us who believe, that power is the same as the mighty strength he exerted when he raised Christ from the dead and seated him at his right hand in the heavenly realms. We have the power of the living God in us that we defeat the enemy. Now, I want to tell you, I say this humbly. I eat carpet as I'm saying it. Please don't think that I'm on a high horse at all. But I've seen it. I've come against demons, and I'm sure you have too. But a demon like Bill Gates and these guys are just used by Satan. You know, they're going to be cremated. It's just, you know.
Yep.
So what do? The first thing we have to do is understand the power that you and I have in us. Understand the danger we are to the enemy. For us not to be afraid of them, they need to tremble when they're around us. Okay. Yes. And I'm not telling you we're not going to be persecuted. We may be persecuted, but it's like Rocky in the last scene of Rocky when he stands up and he says, go ahead, bring it on. And he just keeps getting hit, and he doesn't go down. And he's just telling the evil guy, you know, Creed, bring it on. And the devil tries to take him down, and he wins by default of just not going down. And so we as Christians, we have this power in us that when we walk into a room, any demon in there should tremble and just pass out, okay? So this is how I have to live my life, because if I don't, the things I've encountered, the horrible, horrendous, just evil would take me out. And I have to just ride on that power that raised Christ from the dead. And that same power that raised Christ from the dead is actually in you and in me. And God help any demon that comes against God's children, they will be obliterated.
David, that was an excellent answer. I will tell you that one demonic-filled person tried to enter my house and wipe myself out with my 4 kids, another friend and her 4 kids. And I went in for the knife and survived the attack because I knew God wasn't done with me yet. So I got an extra thick skin going on here, plus surviving in Hollywood. So I completely agree with you.
You said you were attacked by somebody with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
Satan came in. Were you in Hollywood?
No, I was living in Podunk, Missouri, but I could tell you 10 stories like that. I had a demon in my vehicle when I was in Boston heading over for an hour drive to go speak at a youth conference. And that demon took a hold of my steering wheel and tried to swipe my truck into the side of a semi. So I have had my fair, I could tell you 10 stories like that, but the knife intruder was absolutely demonic. He was possessed because I looked in his eyes. He had a mask on, everything. And I was looking at a demon, not a person. That guy doesn't even remember what he did when he got pulled over by the cops. But I went in for the knife to fight him when, after a 5-minute battle in my office, he wanted my kids to line up and my friends' kids to line up when he entered the house to try to wipe me out. And I said, hell to the no, you're not touching me. You're not touching my kids. I tried to go on Facebook Live, something. He was trying to strip my phone out of my hand, pulls out this knife that was at least a foot long to try to slice and dice my face. And that's when I went in for grabbing the knife. I don't even know how I didn't get my hand sliced off. Pushed me down some stairs. I jumped back up thinking I was a goner, and I chased him out of the yard in my truck after him down the street.
Wow. And you didn't even get cut? Nothing happened?
I did not get cut. I don't remember that part at all. He just whipped the knife out in front of my face, and I remember I grabbed with my right hand, his hand with the knife in it as he's waving it in my face. That's when he pushed me down a flight of stairs. And I'm like, if he's either going to flee or I'm going to die fighting for my children.
Now, do you think this was a demon in the flesh, or do you think it was a person taken over by a demon? Do you think it was a demon that manifested in the flesh, or someone taken over?
I think he was taken over by what I saw. God told me a week before, David. He's done this so many times in my life. He'll warn me ahead of time. He told me a week before, keep your eye out in your office window, eye out of the office window. Something's going to happen. I'm like, what in the world? I'm on a dead end. Nothing's going down. I already had my brain prepared for what God was already warning me. And I could tell you so many stories that I should have been dead over the years.
Yeah. And one last question. Is that demon that got in your car to hijack your car, was it a physical, someone in the flesh, a demon in the flesh, or was it a spirit that was controlling your car?
It was a spirit that was controlling my car. And if I got 1 minute to tell you what happened, my now husband, Luke, was in a drug rehab facility. He tried to commit suicide before he met. God didn't let him die. That's a whole other story in itself. He then went through this drug rehab program for a year, was teaching a bunch of guys at a Bible study. And that night when I was driving, and I was dating him at the time, we were engaged to be married. I was driving from Boston, an hour west of there, in my truck. About a halfway into it, I'm listening to Christian music, blasting it, praying ahead of time, asking God what he wants me to share through me the next day for these kids like I normally do. And this demonic entity, it was invisible, grabbed a hold of my wheel physically and tried to steer my wheel into the semi. And I was putting all my weight to the left. Luke calls me in the middle of that. And all I have to say, David, if I remember how the stuff went down, I heard him. He's like, Tina, are you okay? God told me I had to call you and pray for you. We're praying for you. What's going on? I tried telling him there's something in my car. Well, I'm trying to hold on to the cell and put all my weight with one hand on the steering wheel, screaming into the phone, there's a demon in my car. And all he and I heard was the most demonic laugh I've ever heard in my life. That was like, hoo, 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 ha, 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 ha. And the hair on the back of my neck went up, the phone went dead. He thought I was getting killed in some woods. And all I knew what to say in the truck was, in the name of Jesus, get out of my vehicle in the name of Jesus. And I just said it for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Wow. You know, Tina, I did a whole show on cars that were demon portals. I did a whole show on that, and I actually casted a demon out of my car because there was demonic activity in it. So I've experienced exactly what you just experienced. I was doing a show in my car, and I had the camera, and the camera got thrown up against the window. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, because when you said that, I got to ask her about that.
I hope I portrayed enough to see, it's evil. And I'll be quite frank. I don't like Fauci. I don't like what he talks about. He's flip-flop Fauci. I'll just call him what it is. He's been back and forth with a lot of stuff. With what you're playing in The Last Evangelist, I think it really paints a picture of where we're headed. I think some of the stuff that you portray in that particular series is absolutely some of the stuff we're going to see in the near future.
All right. If you're interested in getting involved in Last Evangelist, our new TV series, which is coming out the first of the year, go to lastevangelist.com. You can sign the newsletter. You can even donate. And we do need your help. We really do. You can see on there the things you can do. You can special thanks. You can donate, get T-shirts, hats. You can come walk the red carpet. Hey, you can be in the movie. You can be an associate producer. You could even be an executive producer. This is how we're bringing this truth to you guys. I'm not going to the studio. God said, go to my people. That's what I'm doing. Go to lastevangelist.com or text the word evangelist to 41444, or you can make that call to 844-806-0006.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006.